So one thing about men, you're thinking about what you have to do now. We always think about what we have to do ahead.
Say it again.
And how we have to keep building, and how we have to keep it together, and how we have to sustain it. It's a lot. And that's why I say a woman is a man's greatest balance. A man is a woman's greatest balance. Because the reality is, I think men haven't told their stories enough of what they genuinely go through, that women think we always have it together.
True.
Imagine coming into a household where you don't, let's say hypothetically, you just got fired today. And you have to make sure your woman and your children believe that you got it under control. And that every bone in your body is so nervous because you don't have it together. And you know you don't. But if I panic, you're gonna extremely panic. So I gotta act like everything is okay. Now, babe, I got this, don't worry about that. I got some savings. Meanwhile, that man don't know what he gonna do. But he has to act like he has it together. But you're able to vent, release, cry, whine, and is received. But if a man does that, he's considerably weak or a punk. Not based on you, but based on society standards. And I'm not trying to say, I'm just saying we have to give a little bit more understanding to men because we just don't show y'all what we go through a lot.
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. Oh yes, I brought two of my friends today. I love when I bring people I know because every time, these are the conversations I get with them that I get to bring to you guys. And I have to start with the lovely lady first.
Hi guys.
Y'all should know her by now. They should know you by now.
What you mean?
This is like third. This is like fourth, right?
This is like fourth or fifth. I've been on
for a while. You've been for a while.
You can't get enough of me.
Listen, I love when she comes on here, guys. I love it. Now I'm gonna go to my left. This is my brethren.
Yeah, what's up? What's
Jah
up?
Selassie Jah Rastafari. My brother Jason Ray.
What's up, dog?
You gotta give your catchphrase.
Oh God.
So today's topic, guys, is common sense is not common. When y'all hear that, what do y'all get out of that? Either one of y'all could jump onto that one.
Common sense is not so common.
It's not so common.
I feel like that kind of says like things that you're supposed to just know, people just don't know. Like you just, right?
Yes.
Common sense is not that common. Like some things that we're supposed to just know, we just know. Like people just act off of impulse. We don't really think. So,
100%.
Right?
100%.
That's what I feel like.
I feel like that. I feel the same way. How you feel about that?
I agree. I mean, common sense, I would say, is more like your sixth sense.
Elaborate on that.
It's like, okay, it's just adding on to what she said, something you're supposed to know. Like, okay, don't touch that stove because it's hot. But, it's certain things that you don't have to explain, that it should just be within you. But also that comes from discernment too, having discernment. Because a lot of people don't know how to utilize that. A lot of people don't know how to use their mind. Or even think, or even have what I would say, we would say in the street smarts.
Yeah.
But
when you say common sense ain't so common, do you feel like that's something that, where do you feel like people attain common sense from? Like where you could learn book smart because you could study. Common sense is something that you get from where? Is it through experience? Is it through...
Yeah. Book smarts doesn't make you have common sense because you can be smart and dumb at the same time.
Of course.
Experience for sure. It helps to build it.
Experience.
Okay.
But it's something that should be, like, it's something you observe growing up in your household. It's based on your parents before you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think a lot of people, why they don't have common sense to me is because I think a lot of people don't have humility. Mm-hmm. And I think the greatest teacher outside of experience, as he said, is learning from others. And I think a lot of times we don't assess or learn how to be humble enough to learn from others.
Right.
So I think, for instance, if, let's say my mother didn't graduate with a degree, but she's pushing me to get a degree, I think what should kick in is her telling me how hard she had to work because she didn't get a degree. Mm-hmm. So therefore, it should be like, yo, wait, that's where my common sense should come in, from her experience, But am I humble enough to learn from her?
Right.
So therefore, I don't have to repeat the same cycle. I think that's what people do. They don't want to learn. You know, they're not humble enough. What do you think about that?
I agree. And to expound on that,
That sounds like more of like a pride thing, though. Like your
Yeah.
pride won't allow you to be humble.
Yes.
Like humility, I feel like for a
Yes.
lot of us comes from pride.
Yes.
Like we're so like, well, I don't want to, nobody gonna teach me, nobody gonna tell me what to do. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
sometimes we don't even sit back and take a step back to say, you know what? All right, for example, so I'm starting a new business and I have
Congratulations. Hold
one
on.
of the moms.
We ain't gonna just brush past that.
congrats.
You know, congratulations.
Thank you guys. So
know?
I'm learning from someone who's been in the business for a very long time. And there are things that she's telling me that in my mind, I'm like, but I could this and I could this.
Right.
But I have to learn to take a step back. This is someone who's very successful. This is someone who's been doing it for almost 2 decades. I'm new to this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Yes.
I have to put my pride aside and put what I think I know to just accept, you know, the lesson or whatever it is that she's trying to bring to the table. And like you said, almost when you say common sense, say so common. Some things that she's telling me is common sense, but for me, I'm like, that don't make sense.
Right.
Just because it don't make sense to you, don't mean it don't make sense. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Then you apply it. You apply it where it
Right.
fits.
Right.
Because even though it might not, some of the things she might be telling you now might not be necessary for the moment.
Right.
But later on, it can be.
Right, right.
Because again, she's also telling you from a 20-year veteran.
For sure.
So she could be telling you from year 20. She could be telling you from year 5. So her stories could be jumping around with telling you business because she has so many different years of doing
right,
it.
of
So it
doing
ain't necessarily the beginning. You know, has so much experience, right? Like in most cases, when we talk about parenting to our children, we talk from a lens of a multitude of years. So like say if you tell somebody when my child was, you might be talking about when they were 6. They might be dealing with a 1-year-old. But eventually their child will be 6. So, you know, that might be a lesson that they could store in their memory bank and use it when need be, right?
Do you feel like a commonality of the 3 of us is growing up in a Caribbean household where I feel like, I don't know about you guys' household, but I grew up in a much stricter household that I'm raising my kids. Do you feel like you take some of the lessons from what your parents taught you into your parenting, or do you feel like, because I just turned 40, you know what I mean? I have a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old. Like I don't necessarily know if what I learned 30 years ago is the same way that I'm going to teach my 12-year-old son, because times are different. So are we applying the same thing that we were taught, or are we allowing our kids to kind of come into their own, and are we teaching them differently and parenting them differently than our parents taught us?
Let you go first.
Well, like you said, times are different. But I would say you take what you learned from your parents and mix it with some of your parenting. So whatever you learned back then, you'll assess where you're at now and see, okay, how can I implement what I learned then this way to get through to my child? Because what may have gotten through to you may not be the same for them. So now that's where you understanding your children comes in, understanding the environment as well. You know, for me, like you, I grew up in a strict household. So I'm very lenient with my children. I give them a longer rope than what I had. You know, but because I want to give them room to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And then there can be a teaching lesson within that. Okay, the reason you did this, okay, you see you did this. Now here why you shouldn't do that. You know, and so they can you speak you speak to their language where they can understand you. Because if you were to speak to them the way we were taught, they'll look at you and think you hate them. Not saying that our parents hated us. Our parents wanted the best for us. You understand me? But it's just like we spoke earlier off camera, their upbringing may have been different from ours.
Very, right.
You understand me? So
They
yeah.
taught us the best way they knew how.
Right, correct.
I personally think like I look at a child as building a home.
Okay.
The number one rule of fixing or building a home is the foundation. Right? The foundation determines how the structure is built.
Right.
I think foundationally I still carry a lot of my mother's ways with less aggression. I'm only aggressive when need, because at times, I'm gonna be honest with you, my mom yelled so much, it was like, you're like the little boy that cried wolf or little girl that cried wolf because you always yelling. So it didn't work after a certain amount of time. But the one thing I've learned is when I raise my voice, my children will more so know that I'm serious because I don't bluff. When I raise my voice, that means it's real. Otherwise, I'll just talk to them. So basically, I parent with sternness, discipline. I created the same foundation. But lastly, I definitely come with less aggression. So when I am aggressive, enough is enough.
Also,
that's how I use it.
To add to that, I'll do the voice raising as well, or the look. Because I got that from my parents.
We knew what time it was. It meant business. That look was like...
Because when they see that look, it's like they see a ghost.
Yes.
Sometimes my daughters are like, they're thinking it, they're not saying it, but you can see it on their face. It's like you could just tell what they're saying. They're like, oh, does daddy love me? Oh, that's not my daddy.
Right.
You know, because they only see the love inside of you, but they don't grasp understanding that you disciplining them is actually an act of love.
You say it again.
You disciplining your child is also an act of love.
100%.
You know?
You know, the other day, the one issue I see culturally now is more parents work harder to try to be the better parent than to actually be a great parent. Like, and what I mean by that is your children can play you against yourself because you're looking at it like, I want to be the better parent. And I'm like, you're not the better parent. The better parent is assessing the situation and doing what's best in that particular moment. I think that's what make a great parent a great parent. Like, for instance, I could have 2 children. One of my children I could yell at, and they act faster when you yell. And there's another child I could have where I could just come to them and say, I'm disappointed. And it hurts their spirit to the point where they want to get it done. So I think you assess situations based on your child.
Your child, right.
You know, and then
you have to parent differently. I think that kids...
Right.
You have to parent. My kids, my 12-year-old is very sensitive. My 8-year-old, he is just...
Diabolical?
Diabolical. Seriously. Like, you say the smallest thing to, my 12-year-old, and it'll hurt his heart. Like, 2-3 days later, he's like, do you really think that I'm like that? Is that what you think of me? My 8-year-old, you'd be like, remember the conversation we had? He's like, what? He doesn't remember, So I think that you do have to parent differently. I recently heard someone saying... I'm one of those moms at the games where I hear a coach yelling at my kid. I'm like, I don't want him to play no more. Like, I get mad. I do. It's a mom in me. It's a mom. But I'm a mom, guys.
Right.
But I heard a coach recently say that he even coaches differently. He said, you know what? You have some kids that they could take that harshness. And there are some kids that they just can't. And you have to. Yes. So that's applicable not only to just parenting, but to coaching, to teachers. Like, every child is different. So you have to approach them differently. You get what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Like, I don't think it's a one way for everyone. That's 100%. Just not how it works. So that's just,
But if you see right now, would you say that we're in a society where parents are raising the children twice because they didn't do the right job the first time? So when you see children older, you're like, look, you're complaining about the child that you didn't raise the first time. And I think a lot of parents say we have to raise our children twice nowadays because a lot of the parents didn't raise the child right the first time.
Right.
And I keep telling parents, like, look, when you're dealing with a child, you have to understand sternness is a part of building their character.
Right.
And understanding, like, in order to create the character, you have to have a reference point. How do you create a reference point? So therefore, okay, this works. And it's like we all keep a mental log of our child, and we learn what works. And then we implement it as it goes. And then you adjust because certain things might not work anymore, right? Because they're building more confidence. Now I gotta be more strict with you. Some kids, you can just take their vice away from them, like, which is a phone or something, and it hurts their spirit as if they got a whooping. So it depends on children. But I wanna get into something, and I want you guys to talk about this. How do we feel about the guy, Charlie Kirk? And there's a reason why I'm bringing this up. Who wanna go first? Go ahead, Tyler.
I mean, I would say...
A little louder.
I would say since common sense ain't so common, I think in 2025, you're not allowed to have an opinion or how you feel or speak your motives or whatever logic you have, and that's how you feel, you should be able to express it. Whether, of course, if you're disrespecting somebody, you're hurting somebody, that's obviously not good. But whose right is it for us to say that person can't feel or believe what they believe? I think taking somebody's life over an opinion it's disgusting. I don't respect that at all. I agree.
I agree 100% with Tyler. I do think that taking someone's life over their opinion is unacceptable.
100%.
My condolences to his wife, his children. He was a husband. He was a father. with that said, though, we have to understand that we have created a world with this political party where there are a lot of hatred that's being spewed with this political party from day one, from the last term. With that said, when you have someone that comes on and you are so opinionated, with your opinion, with your action always comes a reaction, no matter what. And when you are a public figure and you go out there and you decide to say things, then you're going to have those people that feel like, I really like that. And they're going to act how they act. It happened to Martin Luther King. It happened to Malcolm X. It happened to John F. K. It happened to a lot of people that for their opinions, they were assassinated. For how they felt, they were assassinated. Now, again, the argument is not just whether it was right or wrong. If we want to backtrack now, it's a lot of some of the things that he said. Like it, again, guys, I am by no means saying this man should have died, no. But Charlie Kirk also said, you know, a few casualties at the, you know, that happened. So according to him, it was kind of like, you know what? A few gun killings a year, it's cool. These were kids that were dying in Gaza. You say that, people are going to have an opinion about that. You talk about, you have a woman that came up to him that said she was raped by her father. Now imagine you're not a woman. A man speaking on behalf of a woman is diabolical. A woman being raped by her biological father and having that baby. So now I have to give birth to my brother and my son. And you're applauding that because of your opinion, like you think that's okay. There are people that are going to speak against that. You can be pro-abortion all you want because you don't have to go through that. You don't have to carry a child from rape. You don't have to carry a child from incest. So you are free to say whatever you want to say, but the person that has to deal with that, I might not want to carry a child because of that I got impregnated by my dad, and you're going to shame me for that and tell me that I'm not a good person. Now, as far as this transgender thing, like, come on, guys, we're not going to even pretend that that's okay. Like, men just getting up feeling like, today I feel like being a tomato doesn't mean you get to slice me up and put me on a fucking salad. Sorry, but I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like, so we're not even going to argue that. He was 100% right in that. There are a lot of things that he said that hit. Yes, a lot of things that he would, black people, like, oh, well, if, you know, the dads weren't out there gangbanging, not all black fathers are out there gangbanging, which is why, you know, black women are on welfare and the civil rights the civil rights movement should have been, come on, like, let's be right. He said a lot of things that were very controversial that people didn't agree with. And unfortunately, it's unfortunate that his life got taken. But I don't think that we could sit here and say some of the things that he said wasn't kind of like, what?
Controversial.
Let me ask you
It was
this.
crazy. What?
Let me ask this question. Even though a lot of people didn't agree with it, was he necessarily wrong, though?
Not in everything, no.
No, I'm
he
not
wasn't
saying
necessarily wrong in everything.
Because a lot of things that, you know, was spewed or was said, especially us as melanated beings, you know, our community is so emotional that they take everything to heart. Even when he's looking at the grand scheme of things, he might not be personalizing it. He's just talking about how the system has direct certain things. But because he said black people, he wasn't talking to you as an individual. He's just talking about the collective and how it is. People might take it the wrong way and say,
you're a part of the collective because you're black.
I understand that, but it's for that's where common sense comes in. That's where you have to pick out sense from nonsense and see where it can apply. Because a lot of things he said about the black society, I agree with. There are a lot of things I don't agree with. I mean, but I'm not going to say, oh, I hate him for that or laugh at his death or be insensitive.
I don't think that's where common sense comes in. I think that's where not internalizing things comes in. That's where maybe not individualizing things comes in, where it might say, okay, well, he may not be talking to me, but if you're black on a whole scale, it's not just about you individually. It's about your culture. I'm sitting here where I might not be in Q's household or your household, but I could sit here and say, here's a black man where every time I come in his household is together. He has his wife, he has his kid, everything. So I know he's not talking about Q. I just met you. You have a wife and a kid. I know he's not talking about you. So therefore, I already know two people outside of my everyday life that it isn't applicable to. So therefore, it isn't common sense. It's an opinion that was false.
You know what bothers me is when we generalize things.
Right.
If you tell me, okay, y'all both born in Jamaica. If she tells me her experience in Jamaica, and then you tell me your experience in Jamaica, and then you minimize her experience in Jamaica based on your experience in Jamaica, I think that's unfair to her. So what I'm getting at is, when we generalize black people, white people, Hispanic people, Asian people, you're gonna always get backlash because there will always be outliers to any rule. And when you're dealing with rules are quote unquote standards or what society has created are deemed normal, there will always be outliers. There will be the felon that it's not ever been back to prison since he got a felony. There will be the woman who had a child young, but she became a doctor. There will be, those are the outliers. But if there's one, there's more. And there can be more based on structure and environment. Right. The only thing I don't like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna be fair as a black person, sometimes I do believe that as black people, we can say things about white people, but we're not comfortable with hearing them expressing how they feel about us. I'll give you a quick scenario. If I'm in real estate and I tell you that a lot of times my experience in real estate, we're dealing with a lot of like black people, they don't like to pay on time and they play with your money from my experience. But if I had a white guy sitting next to my right, he was also in real estate and said the same exact scenario based on his experience, we automatically make him racist. I think sometimes we have to learn, like he said, is remove our feelings and listen to the logic, because I kind of do want to see what people see about me that I may not be able to see about myself. Right. No matter if it's Asian, black, blue, green. But when you generalize, that's when you start sounding racist. If he said every single black person don't pay their bills, now we got a problem. Because there are people that clearly pay their bills that are black. So that's what I'm trying to say. I think we just gotta remove certain feelings.
That's like
having certain conversations.
That's like the term, if it don't apply, let it fly.
But again, I get it because it is triggers when it comes to trauma. So certain things about our counterparts, when they say certain things, it is triggering because of the fact that, well, you were the oppressor. And I'm like, sometimes the people that you point as the oppressor was never the oppressor. Right. We've generalized white people to a term saying that all white people, they come from wealthy families. That's not true. Most white families are broke, right? Most white families are broke.
Yeah, the majority.
Yes. So most white people are very undereducated also, right?
And just to make it very clear, the highest percentage of people that are on welfare are Jewish people, not black people. So let's just get that. I'm just saying, you have to put it out there.
No,
because when they put it out there, like the blacks, that's how he would talk too. The blacks, like when you so you don't. Let me ask you this: do you guys think that Charlie Kirk was racist?
I'm gonna answer that first. I'm gonna answer and I'm gonna go in depth why. I'm gonna say no, and then the reason why I say no is because me personally, I don't look at the world as color. I don't look at black, white, purple. I look at people as their souls and who they are as human beings. If you're a good person, you're a bad person. I don't care if you're the whitest skin tone on earth. If you're a good person, you're a good person. Right. There's black people who are horrible people, and there's white people who are horrible people. There's black people who are good people, and vice versa. So I don't look at that. I think it's may come off as a little controversial, but I think racism is what you perceive as to what it is. Yes, there's a systematic racism, but if you walk around every day and you feel like another race is a threat to you and this and that, and they're stopping you from going here and this, I think that's a self-perception thing. You need to work on yourself.
I got a question for all three real fast. And it's either white or black. Simple question. If you got invited to a party and you had to really let your guard down, what would you be more confident that you're less likely to get into a violent altercation at a black party or a white party? I'm asking
for sure we're going to say white off the bat.
No. I'm just saying white. You said?
White off the bat.
What about you, Jason? What about you, Tyler?
White.
A white party.
And now, if a white man said that he's more confident going to a white party, oh, he mad racist. That's why I said certain aspects of conversation, we got to say, you know what? We have to work on ourselves to the point where we don't get so offensive or offended by logic. Let me just say this before. Let's just say hypothetically right now, white people are saying, oh, they're having a conversation. As long as, again, they're not generalizing. Because when you generalizing, that mean you make it the totality, right? The total. So if you just say a comment like, a lot of black fathers need to get back in their children's life. And if it's a white man that's saying that, I want to hear him out. And then I want to see to the level of, do you have empathy based on circumstantially? A lot of black fathers are removed because of environments they come from, and I'm not giving it an excuse. But if you don't have that level of empathy, then I know there's a motive that's driven by some level of racism, right? Because if you don't have it, you can't just talk about the problem if you're not trying to create a solution
Right.
or trying to acknowledge what could be a solution. See, that's when I see a white man is not racist, or a white woman is not racist, is if they're trying to gauge a solution like, wait, we got to work on getting these fathers back into their houses. One thing I saw was a video they were talking about how, he was talking about how like getting back black families together. And I was like, that's one of the videos I did see from him. And I was like, I think racist is a strong term, but I do believe that a lot of his content was very racial. So a lot of times it's triggering based on experiences, traumas, certain experiences that you might have encountered. So have I. We've all been harassed or disrespected by a white person to a degree, or been looked at as something we're not. But in the same breath, I'm gonna ask you a question. If every time you hired a woman at your store, they always stole out your register, would you hire a woman to be back on your register?
No.
Why?
Experience.
So if a white person says that they have these levels of experiences with black people, I'm not gonna automatically assume they're racist. My goal is to show you that everybody ain't like that.
Right.
But again, she has a certain level of trauma that she might have experienced that generalized her experience. But if she thinks that all black people are like that, she's diabolical.
But the term trauma,
Yes,
you know, we would say Charlie Kirk said some things that may have been triggering,
very triggering. to
based
some
on
people.
trauma. But is it fair for us to go to have certain feelings towards Charlie Kirk for saying that based on your trauma, when it's your responsibility to deal with your own trauma? Because I mean, if you have trauma, shouldn't you should be seeing a therapist?
Then
I'm
every black person should be in therapy, because all you hear is men ain't this and men ain't that, and
Right.
women ain't this and women ain't that.
But when it comes to trauma, it's our responsibilities to work that out.
Agreed.
So we can grow for ourselves and our community. Because if you're still having all these traumas and these triggers, how are you going to help the next person? So every time somebody says something that's triggering to you, you're going to end up 10 steps backwards, because you're in a place of emotions,
The
with your
logic.
emotions that you can't even fathom how to get out of it.
Agreed. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't think that per se we need to hold other people accountable for our trauma. Obviously, my trauma is my trauma.
Right.
But what I'm
Right.
saying is holding people accountable to their actions. The whole argument was, you know, whether he's very controversial. And when you come out addressing a race as the blacks, and I feel like in the black family, in the black household, he never said in some black fathers.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
we are not generalizing. He made a statement as to just black people, and the fathers are missing and they're gangbanging, and why should we
Right.
pay for your schooling separately, and why should we give you guys why should we give you funding different than a white person? That is very controversial. And when you have
Correct.
people that you know have been through certain things, like you have communities that were not able to sell to black people. Levittown, like they had to sign papers to say you are not allowed to sell houses to black people. So am I sitting here living in the past tense of slavery that I never experienced? My mom wasn't a slave, my grandmother wasn't, my great grandmother. No, but we're not going to act as though a part of that past doesn't spew into the future of how black people are a little bit set behind. Now,
Okay.
to sit here and say, do we have the same opportunities as white people? We may have the same opportunities presented, but it doesn't mean we're going to get it.
Can I ask you a
Doesn't mean we're
question?
going to get it.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
If your grandmother borrowed $100 from me, do you owe me that debt?
If my grandmother borrowed $100 from you, why would I owe you that debt?
That's the same way I feel about white people. Their grandparents did things and their ancestors did things to us, but they're still, a lot of them are still paying that restitution.
I don't think they
Let me
owe
tell
us
you
it.
what- No, I'm just saying, not me and you, but in most cases, I do believe that a lot of black people generalize white people so much that it's unfair to them in a sense too.
No, I don't think white people owe us anything. I'm talking about, I do feel like there was a little unfair start, Q.
No,
if I'm
this I
starting
agree. Oh,
from
for sure.
here
This I
and
agree.
you're starting
Yeah.
from there, it's a different start. I don't think any white person owes me anything. Let's get that clear. I don't think
let
I'm
me-
owed
let me-
anything.
One more question.
I'm just saying, is it fair if you from the get-go just didn't have a fair start?
Okay.
But before,
That's what I'm saying.
But right quick,
Okay.
let me say this. We're in America, so we can speak of American history. But you're saying, okay, I agree with everything you're saying. But in retrospect, the black family was ahead of the white family back in the day.
Back in what day?
Black family, the middle class, the black people who made up the middle class of America because of trade.
When?
It's true.
It's a fact. These are facts. We were
All the
plumbers.
traders.
We did all the trades.
Okay.
We were making all that money. The system, the racial system is what broke that up. Put us into poverty. But we were more intelligent. I mean, this might be controversial. We were more intelligent. We were better at saving. We were better at having a community. We raised our children better.
We was more into our priorities.
We were ahead of. The black community was thriving more than the white community. It was just a certain percentage of the white community that was winning.
And do you remember what they did? What was done to
They're
us?
still doing it.
And burnt a lot
Right,
of these
but that's
businesses and did a lot.
but
We were
that's-
always.
Who are they?
I mean, it happened.
It's still-
white people
No.
did it. That's what happened. That's a fact.
White
It wasn't
people?
black people that did it. It was the Black Wall Street. You could read up on certain things. Like
Right,
every
correct.
time we put one step forward, it was almost like, even look at the segregation now, like where you see a lot of black people, you know. Sorry. Oh, you saying something? Where you see a lot of us put, like you look at the demographics, right? And you see where some black people we don't even want to move into our own neighborhoods because we feel like, oh, well, the property value is low, the schooling is not good, this is that. You have black schools that don't even get a certain funding for being black. Okay, in Massapequa, I have a friend that lives in Massapequa. He's black. His wife is white. They have they're, you know, obviously a blended family and a mixed family. His son, because of the part of Massapequa where they're located, now anywhere in Long Island, we know you cannot go to Freeport if you live in Roosevelt. You cannot go to Belmore if you live in Baldwin.
District, school
Now,
district, right.
in Massapequa, this specific part of Massapequa, because it's predominantly black, they are zoned to Amityville, even with a Massapequa zip code.
Yeah, I know about that.
But in fairness,
That's happening now.
But in
So
fairness,
what is that about?
In fairness, zoning, like you like Freeport, you got parts of Freeport that go to Baldwin because of the zoning. When they do the zoning, it matters. Again, and it's sad that it's more of a blacker area. By coincidence, it's zoned for the worst school district.
Is it by coincidence, though, Q?
No, it's not by coincidence.
By design.
But in the same breath, here's a narrative. When we look at the school districts that we have, a lot of the times, and I'm going to say this on record, we do not contribute to making it better.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of the times, a lot of the parents that are in their better districts, they do not show the level of caring, concern
Commitment to the- yeah, for
as
sure.
the better areas.
For sure.
But moving further, the one thing I always tell, like even Tyler talk about this all the time, I say, rather than fighting about getting the same opportunities at institutions that
Create your own.
white people control, why don't we create opportunities to give our own opportunities? I'm going to ask a logical question, and I want both of y'all to answer this question. In most cases, if a black man is the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, more than likely, what color would his president be?
White.
White.
You think it's going to be white?
I think so.
I think it's going to be black. I think it's going to be black.
You think so? You think he's gonna have a black president?
Well, I'm asking you, if you got an Asian guy, he's more than likely he's going to hire what as his president?
Asian.
Asian.
What about a white guy?
White.
What about a Spanish guy?
Spanish.
It's sad that we think that we'll sell out our own like that. But the one thing I will say is, when I go to these institutions, the fact that we were able to be employed by these institutions, it says enough. But being able to utilize your resources to advance yourself, that's a whole nother context. But if I can be a nurse and have more money than a doctor, I could be an Uber driver and have more money than a doctor. It's all about learning what to do with your money. Because a lot of times, I hate to say this, as a black man,
Been
in most
system too
cases, the
many.
people that are in bad predicaments, they waste the most resources looking like they're in better position than what they truly are.
Also, they spend a majority of their time blaming the system
Yes.
for their mishaps.
Yes.
Because like you said, yes, they may have a better
There are definitely starting
advancement
points.
than us, right?
Yeah.
But that's still our responsibility. Everything that we want in life, we can achieve.
But do you think a lack of our progression is a lack of support from our own? Like we just don't support each other?
But I think that's because of the fact that we have to identify that every black person ain't the same.
Right.
I think when you're trying to drag a dead body to a finish line, you're wrong just because they have the same melanated skin.
Facts.
Right? For instance, I'm not moving with somebody just because they carry my complexion.
Yep.
White America don't even do that.
Nope.
Spanish America
Asians
don't even do that. Where it's certain Spanish people, they don't deal with.
Yeah.
Certain
that's
black
true.
people, you just can't help them because they have a certain mentality that's not going to allow them to get past certain levels. Meaning they're their worst enemy. And on top of it, they will hurt the situation more than they will willing to benefit. I tell people I respect the man that don't have money but calling you, asking you what can he do to make some money, than the person that's calling me, asking me for a handout. I will always respect that person. Even if you broke, but it's like, yo, Jason, what can you do? What can I do at your house to get some money? Can I clean up something? That's the person I respect. Because that's not the person that's looking for a handout. That's the person that's looking for help. He wants help in the sense of, give me an opportunity.
I mean, I think common sense says that I think our culture, we need to dust off all the trauma, it's like being in a relationship. You was in a relationship with a bad ex, but you want a new relationship, but you keep thinking about the bad ex. How are you going to attract a better person if you keep thinking about when you was a slave with your ex? It just don't make sense.
Can I ask you something though? If you look at it right now, you see the nicer areas, right, quote unquote. Who keep those areas nice?
We know who keep them.
Who know? I want you to answer it. Who keeps
I mean, the
it?
tax-paying citizens, of course. Mostly, not our culture. I would say that it wouldn't be our culture.
So my next question is, in the bad areas, who keep the area bad?
We keep the area bad.
I don't want to say we because there are white areas
It's
that
white
are
areas
horrible.
yeah, whoever is bad in that area is keeping the area bad.
So the reality is, if y'all don't weed out, for instance, we have the no snitching campaign. These areas where a person can hurt a child and it's act like you don't know that happened. The issue with it is we allow certain behaviors to go on in our environments that, I hate to say it, that our counterparts don't allow.
That's why energy is so potent.
Yes.
But
Because-
Tyler, telling someone, I just want to address that because you said it, but saying
You know
to
what?
dust off trauma
I knew he was going there.
is crazy because your experience, like you said before, my experience may be different than yours. So me
Right.
just telling you, like, listen, forget that. And that's a lot of, I will say this growing up in a Caribbean household is that we never addressed trauma. You know what I mean? I never was able to go to my mom. I was saying that to you off camera before. Like we were
Right.
never able to have those conversations with our parents about, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Like growing up, I thought certain things was just normal because that's just how I lived it. So seeing my friends go through things and having certain conversations with their parents, and I'm like, oh, you guys talk, how you and your mom, so how you talk about, oh no, me and my mom. But I wish I had that. My mom moved here when I was a year old to make a better life. I didn't have a mom. Telling me to brush off that trauma of not having my mom till I met her at 12 is crazy because it's a part of my life where I needed her. You get what I'm saying? My dad was in prison for 7 years. Telling me to brush off the trauma of not having a man in the household is crazy because I needed him. So I feel as though the trauma is subjective. And some traumas we can brush off. Some things we could say, you know what? He did that to me. He used whatever. But you can't tell someone to brush off stuff as incestuous, stuff as rape, such as not having a parent in the household, such as not knowing. Because what you don't know may not be so much common sense to you. Because if I don't know it, I don't know it.
Can I say something?
Tyler ready to cook.
No, I agree with you, and maybe I should have said a better way
Yeah.
to brush off trauma because I'll take
I get what
I'll
you're
take
saying.
accountability.
I got
for
what
that.
you're saying
I get
as
what you're
well.
saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying it in a sense where is in order to grow in life, you have to maybe not brush off, forgive it, forgive the trauma,
That's what I was getting at.
forgive
you saying.
yourself. For
But you
you're
wanna
not
know
gonna
something?
forget. See, brushing it off is like forget about it. Not that. Just
Yeah.
forgive it though.
Wait, something funny? You know why most black people can't work together?
Why?
Because most people that are black, trauma comes from black people. That's why they have an issue with working together. Most black people's trauma comes from their
Another
own.
black person, yeah.
So reality is we tend to point the finger at our counterparts when we still haven't learned to love and heal forgive ourselves.
Right.
A lot of the things that I experienced, I hate to say this, have I felt racism? Yes. But has it done anything to stunt my growth?
Nah.
No. But the logic is 90% of the time, my experiences was definitely with people that look like me, that hurt me so much
True.
that I have an issue with trusting my own. But sometimes, again, if we don't heal ourselves, we can't project onto the next generation other than inadvertently inherit. They're going to inherit
Trauma.
our trauma.
Yeah.
Right.
Because of the fact that black people don't work together. That's been a thing since the beginning of time. And it was clearly not because of the white man.
Right.
And again, this is an issue that we have as a culture because we haven't learned that we are giving ourselves trauma based on our own experiences and how we treat each other.
Agreed.
You know, black women can't be my bees forever, and black men can't be my ends forever. They've been my bees for so long, and black men been my ends forever. I used this term earlier. I said the N word. It's so celebrated in the black culture that white people want to use it because it seems like it's so fun to use.
Yep.
It's like me allowing let's say me,
Sure.
my son, your son, and they have a white friend. You bring them around and they keep saying the N-word every day. You don't think he's gonna want to say it?
Right.
It's like if we erase that word in itself, it eliminates the urge or the feel for the word. The feeling for the word is because
fear.
we use it as a term of endearment. And the sad part is it was a derogatory term that we've created into a term of endearment. To the point where if I say a woman is a B, she's gonna curse me out. But if I say she's a bad B, it's a term of endearment. Like we can't be like that. It's either let's eliminate
Can't
the
pick
word.
and choose how you want it to, right.
Let's eliminate it altogether and move forward.
Right.
What you got, Jason?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head with the hammer. So, but I was gonna address Tyler saying dust it off, but you already did that. And also just to add to it, I'll go back to what I said earlier: therapy, or talk to someone, a therapist, a pastor, or someone that may have had a similar experience,
Yeah.
and they overcame it.
Right.
So now they can be able to redirect your thoughts or show you a better path, you know, and like you said, forgive what occurred during your trauma.
I gotta ask you a question. We talked about it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe? Do you
No.
believe that a woman can be an alpha female?
God, here we go.
I had to ask it. I had to ask
Oh
it.
my God.
Well, I mean, I said no.
Elaborate why.
And that's just based on my experience and how I was raised. You feel me? So, like I shared off camera, I was raised with both my parents. So, see my dad get busy,
Definition alpha.
you know, see my dad get busy, my uncles
Definition
get busy, all the men in my
Definition
community,
of alpha. I'm listening.
all the men in my community, you know, do it. I'm not saying the wives or the women didn't do it, but that's just how I was raised, and that's what I experienced. The men were the alphas, the big dogs. I get it. We're in a different society where they're trying to equate men and women, which I don't know how. I mean, I'm going based on how I was raised biblically, so I would look at it from a different perspective. But I'm not saying I'm going to diminish a woman's drive and her winning and her getting it because she had to. She had no other choice. I respect it. But the term alpha male, I don't know. This is a new term. It just stemmed from nowhere.
So I'm a little confused. Are you saying that women can be alphas, or are you saying
No,
that
no, the
in
ter-
your
no,
household
he's asking about the
there
term.
wasn't
The term.
Okay.
He's
so you
asking-
don't believe that there is such a term as an alpha female? You don't think that there can be?
No, I said no.
Let me read this real quick. To be alpha means to be a dominant leader, particularly in the context of
He wanted me
humans,
to come on.
and often associated with traits like confidence,
Okay.
assertiveness, and the ability to take charge. Me personally, I definitely believe there are alpha females. I come from an alpha female. And my mom was so alpha that, to me, when I hear the term alpha, means great leader. I always tell you that I feel like you're an alpha female. I've been told you that. I think you're a great leader. And sometimes I hate the fact that you don't like to take on the role of it because you want to be in your soft girl era, but that's not who you are. I'm telling you, she's the woman that's going to be in the passenger seat complaining about the driver because you know you're a better driver. That's just who you are. And it's okay to accept who you are. I think what would work in your household is you leading.
Right.
Because it's just what it is. Like in my household, I know I'm an alpha male. So I know I'm a great leader. But it depends on the aesthetics of the home.
Okay,
Yeah.
so. You know, guys, you know I love Q. Q's my brother. It's my brother. But
I ain't say nothing bad about
I
alpha female.
disagree with Q all the time is Q trying to make it okay to be
Right.
an alpha female. Like, he's like, I can accept a role as a leader. I can
Right.
accept that men and women have roles, and I can accept that, you know what, your counterpart, you may be a better planner, and you may
Right.
have to take over the role of planning. You may, be better with organizing whatever for the kids, and you may take on that role. But I don't believe that it's okay for a woman to be so strong that her man is behind her.
Right.
Because I feel like now it's a
But he's at-
respect
he's at the
factor,
side of you, though.
and it's how I look. No,
He's
but
at the
now,
side of you.
but now I can't respect you as my man if I feel like I am taking that role where I'm ahead of you.
She's
And you're
speaking.
kind of behind me, because if I have
I
to
think-
be,
I
let me,
think that's
let me
wrong.
cook, bro.
Okay.
I just feel like if I'm alpha and I'm doing it by myself and I'm in the driver's side telling you how to drive, so I need to drive, I got to put on the construction hat and the red bottoms and the mini skirt and the shoulder pads.
Right.
Then what exactly do I need a man for?
So then a man should feel like that about a woman if that's the case, if we're leading. If I'm leading and doing everything you just said, why should I need a woman too?
No, but I mean, since the beginning of time, just like he said over here, men, we know men as leaders. We know that the man is, he is the foundation. You buy a woman a house, she makes it a home.
home,
That's
right?
what we know. So if a woman has to do all of that, what is your role
What's the purpose?
than a man is what I want to
But
know.
in the same breath, it depends. Because if that's the case, we can't use or reference traditional times when we're not in traditional times.
Okay.
Traditionally, it made sense.
Okay.
But now,
But let me ask you this before you continue. As I understand what you're saying with tradition, but from a biblical standpoint,
yeah,
do we omit that?
we don't omit it, but you have to adjust, because the reason why I say you have to adjust is because it also understanding how a person was raised. When we talk about those big, strong men that led, they also grew up in a different time where there were more men showing them how to be men. So therefore, now we're in a time where more women are grabbing the bull by the horns because
More
of
men are being feminine.
It's being created to be more feminine, and it's just what it is.
That's what it
so
is.
it's like I'm
Men
seeing
are being created to be more
a
feminine.
lot of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
A lot
I
of
mean,
them.
no,
But you can't make it okay for us to be okay with that, though.
right?
No, but
Nah, it's
but the man has to be okay with you being masculine.
Facts. The man
So
has
it's-
to be
it's a-
okay with
it's a-
that.
it's a
man
trade.
being okay with his woman, his wife, his counterpart being that masculine is a problem. Because
yeah.
again, there's no way that me as a woman, I'm gonna respect my better half, my other half, if I'm being allowed to just lead in everything, to just be in charge of everything. Because then I feel like, well, then what is your role as a man? How is that supposed to turn me on in any way, sense, or shape of the form, if I
Agreed,
feel like I'm
agreed.
just the leader? You know
But-
what I'm
but-
saying?
but-
Like, I should be the one bending you over with my Timbs, if
That
so
sounds
be the
crazy.
case.
But I think.
Hey.
But no, look.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
No, but look. But 90.
saying.
She's not lying.
No, but it's true. But 99.9% of women that are leaders, right? I'm gonna be honest with you.
They're single.
No masculine energy is gonna step up to fight with her for a role.
No.
They're not gonna do it.
They're not.
They're
Wait,
not gonna
say
do
that
it.
again.
Most of them
I
are single.
99.9% men
Okay.
that are very alpha men,
Okay.
they're gonna look for a very submissive woman.
Okay.
Facts.
Most alpha women, you're gonna have to prove to them beyond a reasonable doubt that you're a great leader for them to submit. And even then, they're gonna fight with you for that role at times. So no real masculine man will even look for that.
Or what about an alpha woman may have been submissive in the beginning, but she realized that you weren't taking on a leader role, so she had to step up to the plate.
I mean, he
and
was
take
never an
that leader
alpha,
role.
though. I mean, he was never an alpha.
That's one side of it, and also that woman was never a submissive woman. Because if you're saying if she was alpha in the beginning and then became, or submissive in the beginning and became alpha, that means you were never submissive. You were playing a role. And then the true essence of who you really are
Came out.
because something didn't go right, or that person did something that was off, and boom, there it is.
I just feel like it's a lot of soft dudes out here nowadays, and women, we just don't have a choice but to just
No,
step up to the plate and do what we have to do.
I don't believe
if your
that.
man is doing, I'm talking, listen,
raised
to
them.
each
You
his
have
own.
choice.
I
I
just said
raised
there are a
them, though.
lot of men out here right now
I raised them.
that are just not doing what they
Yeah, I
need
raised
to
But
them.
it's
do.
how they're being raised now.
I raised them. I
Women,
feel like
they're-
most women have an infatuation with their sons to the point where they overcoddle their sons and they hate the men that are coming up. So when you look at that little girl that is the next generation after you, that little boy, well, a couple of generations after us, you got to look at that little boy that you created to be her husband and then wondering why he is what he is. But again, when you tied his shoe, when you told him, come in, boo-boo, are you okay? That boo-boo, are you okay, gonna look for a woman that's gonna continue that behavior.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that a woman could raise a man, or do you feel like the absence of a father figure in the household plays a major role on how he is gonna show up in the world?
And I will say this, there will always be an exception to the rule.
Yeah.
But in most cases, I will say no.
1%.
But I will say this question. Do you consider me a man?
Of course.
I come from a single mother. But again, it was how she was with me. My mother never dated me. My mother never made me feel like I was the man of a house, that I did not run the house. My mother never submitted to me. I watched mothers submit to their sons more than their own husbands by saying, what do you want to eat tonight? Who is he? You making him feel so entitled that he's going to think that he runs the show. He's asking your mom who you on the phone with. My mother would have boxed my lips. What do you mean who I'm on the phone with?
Facts.
But again, this is the nuance of women. They allow these young men to do that. And these young men, you know what they walk around? With faulty testosterone. It's called faulty testosterone. They think they're more masculine than what they are because the mother made them feel so superior. That boy's nothing in this house. My mother made me always feel like I was a guest under her roof.
Facts.
And I can lose my subscription to that apartment place anytime. And that's how she made me feel.
One slip up.
So she kept saying, a man go get his own place. A man don't move into a woman's place. You pull up, like one time my little brother pulled up driving his girlfriend's car. My mother said, so that's what we doing? And he thought he was the man. But my mom made you feel disgusted for this behavior. I don't believe a man moves into a woman's place. I don't believe in that. The only way, I'm gonna tell you, only absolute way I believe a man can move into a woman's place, if they're getting married, he's relocating, one, for her. So let's say he's coming from a state to a state, right? So the circumstances might be what it is. Secondly, I believe that the only way a man can move in there, if financially it makes more sense for them to save money to buy a house. Okay. So say she has a cheaper apartment, you know what? This makes more sense for us to move to here. He don't need her, meaning he can have his own place if he wanted to. But it made more sense for them to move into one space to save money for a better space. That's the only other way. Other than that, I don't think most women can share because I feel like y'all pee on every corner in y'all place and y'all feel like it's yours. And y'all don't know how to share.
I mean, I will say this. I did have a friend the other day. She was talking to me. She had gotten into an argument with her husband, and it is her place, and he moved into her place. And she said she looked at her husband and was like, well, you could get out of my house. And I was like, oh, I felt it. I felt it over the phone. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I felt it over the phone. I was like, oh, they're married. But I was like, you said that? Because I just as a woman, I can't put myself in a man's place, but I kind of did for a second. I was like, that must have really hurt a man's ego to have his wife look at him and say, well, you could get out of my house.
But you know why y'all like that though, right? Because it's not just about power. In a sexual encounter, who's supposed to be the receiver?
Supposed to be the receiver?
Who's supposed to be receiving?
We are.
Which is the what?
The woman.
Okay, who's supposed to be the giver?
The man.
Masculine energy is about giving.
Right.
Feminine energy is about receiving.
Right.
So naturally, when a woman is giving, she don't see him as masculine anymore. She's gonna start seeing him more as a feminine energy. So she's gonna not respect him to the masculine energy that she's supposed to.
But whose fault
is that? It depends because, like I said, circumstantially, do he need to live there? If he has to live there because he don't have nothing, then he deserves every bit of what he's getting. Because you haven't done the role of a man before you even got married. A man's supposed to get himself together before even getting into a relationship, right? So naturally, I feel like a grown-up is being able to provide and take care of yourself. So if you cannot do that, then you shouldn't even be in a relationship, whether you're masculine or the feminine in a relationship. If you can't take care of yourself as an adult, you shouldn't even be in a relationship. So period. So if a man is moving in with a woman because he knows he needs her, he just put himself basically on a firing range to get shot as soon as she get mad.
So let me ask you this. Do you feel as though a man should be a provider? What do you feel like a woman's, you have a home, you know, my brother has a beautiful home. Do you feel as though you're supposed to be a provider in your household? What is your woman supposed to be responsible for? Do you think a man's job is to cover the bills. The woman is supposed. Do you feel like those roles should be split? Do you feel like there are situations where it's circumstantial, where you know what, I may not be able to cover everything right now. I need you to go half with me. Like, how do you guys feel like that works in a house?
I would say it depends on the
How does your household work? Let's talk about that.
It depends
first.
on the circumstances.
Okay.
Because it can, for us, it could go either way. It could be, okay, we come to an understanding that, okay, this is what we're going to do as a team. Because when you're married, you become one.
Okay.
It's not like boyfriend or girlfriend, or that's your woman and she lives with you. You become one. So it's all a discussion. Traditionally, the man is supposed to take care of everything. What the woman's job is to manage the house, take care of the house. So if I, like you said earlier, if I build a house, a woman makes it a home. If I buy a house, the woman makes it a home. If I bring home the groceries, she provides the meal.
Right.
You understand me? What as we expect as a woman, as your wife, is to be the nurturing side of everything, because we're too busy outside hustling, getting to the bag, working, doing all this. We expect to come home and, we don't need the honey I'm home thing. We don't care about that. But at least we're coming home to a meal prepared, because we did all the work. A meal prepared. Is
this granted you have a housewife, or is this granted you also have a counterpart that's working as well?
No. Like I say, it's based on the conversation. No, like I say, it's based on the dynamics.
Okay.
It could be, okay, the both of you work, or it could be, I was saying traditionally at first.
Oh, traditionally, okay.
I did say traditional. Okay. So from a traditional standpoint, that's what it is. But in the dynamics that not dynamics, the world that we live in now, where women want to work. Okay. Some women don't have to, but they just choose to. Okay. I might just say, don't work. If you want to, that's fine, but you don't have to. It's the difference. In my household, my wife don't have to. But she was working this year after 5 years of retirement.
So if your wife said to you today, listen, babe, I don't want to work anymore, you would be totally fine with that. No problem.
She wasn't working for no one for 5 years, because we have our own company.
Okay.
So we were focused on the business, but the beauty about it is she's home.
Okay.
You understand me?
I would say that traditionally, to run a household clean and clear didn't require two incomes.
Back then,
So circumstantially, comparing apples to oranges isn't fair. When you look at how society has become so expensive, it requires multiple streams of income to run a household comfortably. And on top of it, in most cases, I genuinely believe that a lot of men go broke trying to meet the requirements of a woman. Most men go broke trying to meet the requirements of a woman. A lot of the times, women volunteer. A lot of men resources. Look at most cases, I don't meet men that always want to go out to eat. That's mostly women. Most men do not want to go to the mall and go shopping.
It's a fact.
It's mostly women. More women want to travel, so the man always try to accommodate the woman. If you said that we had a simple life, a lot of men could meet the requirement of manhood. The issue is a lot of men cannot meet the requirement of manhood because a lot of women carry very materialistic beliefs and ways.
Big on it.
Therefore, only hurting the men because the men are not considerably men because they do not meet the criteria of what she would like materialistically. So therefore, if you eliminate her materialistic ways and you say we have shelter, we have a car, and we have food, and my kids have somewhere to call home, I think he's meeting the requirements. Now, you don't want that one multiple vacation. A vacation is a luxury. It's not a necessity.
We wasn't talking about that. We were just talking in the house.
But that's not. I'm just saying that's a luxury. That's not a necessity.
Okay.
A luxury vehicle is not a necessity. That's a luxury.
Right.
Traveling, eating out all the time is not a luxury. It's not a necessity.
It's a luxury.
Right. But again, we create luxuries to be necessities based on the materialistic beliefs that a lot of people have. And that's why you see society right now having a problem. Because right now, I think that whatever your split is, 70-30, 60-40, 50-50, I respect a man that does 50-50 with his woman if that's their role and it works. Because just because the numbers are being split don't mean that the healthy relationship is in the household. Whatever works for them, works for them. I think there's no one shoe fits all.
Right.
I think it all depends on the circumstances of the relationship. I think women should be honest with themselves because if you know you cannot be in a 50-50 situation, don't get in a 50-50 situation and then complain about it. I do not want to hear a man complaining about his girl want to party every weekend when you knew that when you met her. It's just weird. Right. So again, if we decided what this was in the beginning, I think we should just handle it. It is what it is.
And based on the title, of this podcast
Common sense ain't so common.
Common sense ain't so common.
because of the lack of common sense. Men don't know how to choose a wife anymore.
100%.
Because of the lack of common sense, men don't know how to choose their wives. They'll look at the glitz and the glamour. They'll look at the body. They don't look at the mind.
But who tells them that though?
Society, the
Okay.
internet.
Yes. Because their dad wasn't there to tell them
Yep.
what a
Just
wife
to
was.
raise them, right?
So you don't know. Like one thing I always love about my mom would call it out as soon as she see it. A woman come in the house, my mother wasn't jacking, she'd be like, that's not it.
Yeah,
Like off the rip. My mother was one of those mothers that
Yeah, my
diabolically
mom was like that
spoke her
too.
feelings.
Yeah.
And the one thing I love about it is now I diabolically speak my feelings, right? Because again, I just feel like in society, we all have this very, like, I'm gonna just keep it real with you. I feel like black culture is very narcissistic, and I'm gonna tell you why. The way we love is so narcissistic to the point where it's what I want, how I want it, and when I want it. And the sad part is you can't appreciate the person that you're with because you have in your mind something that's out there that exists for you that you may never ever receive or get. And it's sad that a lot of people are like that. I'm talking about men and women. There are men, right? I think more men, I'm being fair, they settle for who the woman is. Women will complain about what they settle for because they think that there's something out there that's still for them. I meet men who he'll tell he want a short, light skin with a accent, with a nice body. That's what he wanted. But the girl can be the complete opposite of what he wanted, and he'll settle. He'll take it. But a lot of the times, the woman, in her mind, she believes that this is like we grew up on Ninja Turtles and fighting movies.
Facts.
Y'all grew up on Cinderella and princess love stories. Like the everyone can finish this story. The princess kissed the toad, and what happened?
Came up-
Happily ever after.
You see? And that's what everyone believes. Happily ever after is when you see the next generation being greater than the last generation. I think that most people, we recreate broken situations because we come from broken situations and we never healed from our broken situations, so we procreate more broken situations who will grow on to be broken people who will become baby daddies and baby mamas again. I think that's what's normalized in our culture.
I think, as I'm sitting next to these two men, I'm going to speak up for my ladies a little bit. I don't think that you guys realize what comes with being a woman in a household, though, and maintaining a household. Like, besides, we have fix your lips of a true story.
No.
Besides,
I did the same
just
thing.
going out to work. No, because I don't feel like being a mom is hard. It's hard, guys. It's hard to maintain a household. Now you're talking about nowadays women who are also working. So now she has to work. She has to come home. She has to prepare the meal. She has to make sure that the house is kept. She has to make sure the laundry's done. She has to make sure she's taking care of the kid. While you say you guys, we go out and we're providers, but then what?
But let me ask you this.
A woman from women, we get drained more emotionally than we get drained physically because it's a lot to process. It's a lot to take care of, especially in houses
Agreed.
where you have multiple children, where it's not just a one-child household.
Right.
Where you have a woman that's saying, you said your wife, you guys have, your kids are fairly young. Those are young kids. So to be able to make sure everything is done, get everyone in a routine every day and still be able to combat whatever task the day is going to set before her, that's a lot. She's sometimes drained by 12 p.m. You are just totally drained. But you still got to function. And now I still have to be a wife to a husband.
Isn't
Like,
crazy?
she carries so many roles. Where sometimes you come home, the kids are already done and taken care of. You don't even got to be bothered with them. They come, hey, Dad, well, how was school today? Good. Homework is done. Bath is done. Dinner is
Agreed,
done.
agreed.
Everything is done. Like, sometimes the role of a woman is much more than just the glitz and glamour that you guys think it is. It's a lot harder than that.
But let me.
You know
okay,
something?
yeah.
Just tell you a quick story. There was a husband, right? The wife cooked all day. She wanted to surprise the husband with his favorite dish. The husband walks in the house. But before the husband walked in the house, the wife said, I'ma curse his behind out. He late to come home. I slaved behind his stove all day. Oh my God, watch what he get. He walks in the house. She said before she said anything, the Holy Spirit told her silence. Silence. And she listened. She went on the same way she did. She said the way he was gonna come home, she said, how was your day, honey? I cooked your favorite meal for you. He fell into her arms and started crying and said, I had one of the worst days of my life. The one thing I think women don't understand, the dog, the wife, the children get more love than the man. The dog, the cat, the children and the wife get more love than the man.
Not in every household.
In most households. And I'm being fair. In most cases, the man is at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to love. The bottom of the totem pole. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when a man goes out and has to be this provider, you have to look like you always have it together. I'll give you a story. I'm in the car this morning, right? I see something, and I look, I said, do me a favor, put the car in park. Why am I put the car? I said, put the car in park. She puts the car in park. I kill a bug. What was that? I said, that was a bug. It was a spider. Oh my God, that was a spider? I said, yes. She said, I said, I told you to put it in park because the first thing your foot would have did was release, because you would have went into scarcity mode, scary mode, and you would have never even thought about the car. You would have been just trying to get away from that spider.
Yeah.
So I said, I had to assess that situation before it happened because I know you would have panicked. So one thing about men, you're thinking about what you have to do now. We always think about what we have to do ahead.
Say it again.
And how we have to keep building, and how we have to keep it together, and how we have to sustain it. It's a lot. And that's why I say a woman is a man's greatest balance. A man is a woman's greatest balance.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, I think men haven't told their stories enough of what they genuinely go through, that women think we always have it together.
True.
Imagine coming into a household where you don't, let's say hypothetically, you just got fired today. And you have to make sure your woman and your children believe that you got it under control. And that every bone in your body is so nervous because you don't have it together. And you know you don't. But if I panic, you're gonna extremely panic. So I gotta act like everything is okay. Now, babe, I got this. Don't worry about that. I got some savings. Meanwhile, that man don't know what he gonna do. But he has to act like he has it together.
You know,
but you're able to vent, release, cry, whine, and is received. But if a man does that, he's considerably weak or a punk. Not based on you, but based on society standards. And I'm not trying to say, I'm just saying we have to give a little bit more understanding to men because we just don't show y'all what we go through a lot.
You said something that was...
Yeah, we the one.
You said something that I got chills when you said it. We have to remain so composed.
Yep.
You know, life can be throwing us so many different things, but we have to have it together.
At least look like it.
Yeah, at least because when you said that, the conversation I spoke to you briefly about losing my daughter, it's kind of crazy you said that because through the entire process, everybody was like, you're so strong. Like, you're going through all this, you're this, you're that. And I'm like, I have to. I live in a house with a bunch of females. Even though I was dying inside, you know? And that's what we go through.
I'm gonna keep it real with you, Jason. When you turn on the shower, what comes out?
Water.
My number one place that I've cried in my life is in the shower.
Facts. The bathroom in general.
I don't let people see it. When you're stressing, when you're going through depression, anxiety, frustration, things that are not going the way you want, and you still gotta make it look like you have it together. That is not easy. Men make it look easy, but it ain't.
Nah.
Because the expectations of a man is diabolical when we every bit of human just like you. One thing we don't equate is physically stronger, emotionally weaker. Y'all think men are emotionally strong. No, we learn how to control our emotions. But the same feelings that you get, if you get bit by a dog, I feel the same thing you feel. If I get hit, I feel the same feeling. But society makes it seem like men don't feel. And I'm like, no, he could be second guessing himself. He could be questioning his own manhood. Because the standard of what society said is manhood, he's not meeting that requirement. And then on top of it, the woman is not respecting him because he's not meeting that requirement. You got men that go home to women every day that they're emasculated in, and the woman don't even see it because she thinks that she's being strong. And I'm like, no, you're being disrespectful. You're being insulting. And on top of it, God will never bless you because you're horrible. Because it's always assessing your situation. You my sister. You might not be able to take me coming straight at you, but you can take it if I come at you in a sensitive manner. That's love, right? Learning how to assess every situation is true strength. That's great leadership. That's what I see with you. And that's why I say, yo, just be the strong woman that you are, because God made you that way for a reason. I think times have changed. I don't think that every man is made to be a leader. Some men, you know, Tyler knows, you know how many men come in my shop and be capping about what they do for their woman because they try to base themselves on me. And then the sad part is I don't use me as a standard. Like there was a guy, and I'm gonna say a story. We was riding in the car one day. We had bought a house in Wyandanch, and he here today, and he gonna hear this. We ride in the car, me and him bought a house in Wyandanch together. We driving to the house. He sit in the car, and this is the first time at the time I'm meeting his girlfriend, and she's telling me how, I'm asking her questions because I care about him so much that I want to make sure he's choosing the right woman. So I'm like, yo, God forbid if he fall off right now, what would you do? She said, I'm gonna hold him up and I'm gonna take care of him. I'm gonna make sure he gets back on his feet and I'm gonna da-da-da-da. He's like, no, I'm always gonna be good. I said, shut up. Shut up. You're not. Anybody can have a horrible financial year. I said, we're talking about life.
Yeah.
I said, right now, you're still thinking on college time. You're thinking about high school times. We're talking about adult dating. The woman could be up, she could be down. The man could be up, the man could be down. But ultimately, if you're up and I'm down, we bring a balance. If I'm up, she's down, I'm bringing her balance. And once I'm explaining that to him, he said, you know what, you're right. Moving forward, the other day, they just got married. When I was basically giving his hand away in marriage, I say it, giving his hand away, I'm sitting there looking at him like, I co-signed her from that day. Because I know that anything in circumstances can change. You could be on your high horse right now and get sick, and now guess what? That man that you devalue, now you appreciate. And it took that experience to humble you. Life can change overnight. I'm telling you, and it took me years to not value the economics. It took me years to value happiness. I was telling my girl this morning, right? I said, I learned to appreciate you when I learned how to accept you for you and stop imposing what I want on you. Most people impose what they want on each other. If you're not a great leader, I will be what you're not. That says that I love you. And I'm gonna do the role effectively and efficiently. I'm not gonna hold the ledger of what I'm doing to say I love you. That's not love.
Yeah, but Q, I don't think it's, again, I feel like that works in some households. Like you said, we can't generalize everything.
Agreed.
I don't think that in every household it's safe to just put it out there and say, you know what you lack, I'm going to compensate for, because sometimes that will create complacency with the other person and stagnancy with the other person.
What is stagnant?
Because everyone doesn't move. Okay, we're married. I realized, like, all right, you know what? His strengths aren't this. I'm going to take on that role. But with me taking on that role, you just decide, like, all right, she's taking on that role, I'm just not going to do this. Not every person takes that and says, you know what? Well, if she's doing that, I'm going to find my strength in this. You have some women that have to wear all the hats in their household. Some women really legit may have just chosen the wrong partner, and it shouldn't be, I'm just going to accept you as you are and say, okay, it's not in economics, it's in happiness. Some people it ain't in either. Sometimes you realize that you may have chosen the wrong partner in life because what it is that you thought their strength was, or your weakness, or vice versa, you realize, like, wait a second, but if I'm taking on this load, but you ain't taking on that load, I got to pick up this load and this load and this load, and I don't really see your role here, then what's the point? And that's how it is in some households.
But you know, some people, after they get a divorce, they realize that the person wasn't the problem. They realize it was them. That's
some people, but not all.
No, but a lot of people do. Because you know what? They go on and never become remarried and go on miserable and single, and they realize that the problem was in themselves. A lot of times when you can look from within, then you can project on the outwards. Like a lot of the times I had to realize that I could never have a healthy relationship until I became healthy myself. And every time I would date, I would bleed on every relationship that I get on, because I'm gonna always look at the problems in the person, but I'm never gonna look at myself. Like, for instance, one of my boys, he complained about his financial, he kept complaining about the women not making money, but he never looked at himself. I'm like, maybe you need to step it up, go back to school. The things that he was complaining about, he was not willing to look at himself. And I'm like, bro, there's things that you can fix yourself. Because like I always tell you, there are self-goals that we all have. And when you have goals in yourself, you have to go after those goals yourself. Otherwise, you'll never feel satisfied yourself. Motivated people need to do things in order to feel satisfied. Discipline. It releases our dopamine. But again, you can't expect your mate to be, it always sound good to be like two doctors to coming together, financially literate, and build a life and love. That sounds amazing, but that's a storybook. In most cases, it'd be the doctor with an Uber driver.
So
and
let me
that'll
ask
work.
you this. If you live in a household, right, let's just say
Right.
we're married, we got married, you were making $70,000 a year 10 years ago. Let's say now you're up to 80, but you realize like 80 isn't good enough to suffice and to provide for your household.
Right.
Do you feel like it is your role as a man, as a leader, to go out there and do more? Or do you feel like, you know what, we should just make it work with what we got, we'll figure it out. I'm okay with just being like this because it's okay. Like I'm making a decent living, even though we're kind of going from, hand to mouth and you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. When do you feel like a man should step up? And now let me ask you, do you feel like it's okay for a man to ask his woman for money? Do you feel comfortable texting your girl and being like, yo, send me $20?
Ask his
Is
wife.
that something that you do?
Ask his wife.
Your wife, whatever it is. How
As a wife?
How comfortable do you feel doing it, and how often
Would you ask
do
him
you
for
feel?
$20?
You're not listening to me.
No, would you ask
Let
him
me
for $20?
finish. How often though? I'm
No, but
asking
would
you a
you ask him
question.
often for $20?
I'm not just saying me. I'm saying in general. How often are you okay as a man with doing that? So you get to the point where you're like, you know what? I kind of got to step up a little bit because this is
But-
crazy. I'm
but
just asking you.
based on
Is it a normal thing? Do we create this normalcy in that, or do we say, wait a minute?
So if you're referring to the union of marriage, like I said earlier, you become one. So what's hers is his mine. You're married. Now I don't see the shame in you asking your wife to help
Okay.
you,
Okay.
or vice versa.
For sure.
Because you are married. That was the purpose, to help each other out, to support.
course.
Like you said, bring balance. Like I might be let's use your point. Let's say I'm making 70,000 today. Well, there's two questions you ask. The first one is, should I be okay with just making 70,000, went up to 80,000, and just be complacent after that? As a man, no. You should be finding other means to bring in more income, because the society we live, well, not society, what we're living in now is more expensive. So now it's our job to go out there as a man and bring in the coin, like figure it out. That's our job. We figure stuff out. As men, we figure things out. We weigh our pros and our cons. We see ahead of time and we figure it out. Now, we're not expecting our wife to come and say, babe, let me go out and work to help. But if you find a wife like that, you found a good thing. Because she sees, oh, you're trying. Yeah, you're making 80,000. You're doing what you can. But you say, if I can go out and bring in 40K to help the family, that's 120.
What about if you're working one job, she's working one job, and you guys realize in between that we need more income, and your wife says, I'll go do it. I'll go make more. I'll go work 70 hours a week, and you can work your 40. Are you as a man?
No.
There's a line?
Well, you see, that's the question you asked as a man.
Right.
As a man, you should say, no, babe, I got it.
But you're one, though. You said as a marriage, you're one. So
but
if we're one.
As a man.
Okay.
I never say as a marriage. It says
Okay.
a man, you said, babe, I got it.
Or we could scale back the lifestyle that we're living.
That too.
That's to me, like I said earlier, I think that a lot of people
live above their means.
Yes. And when you look at it, I'm like, yo, maybe it's time to scale back our life, because all you're doing is
Reset.
committing yourself to a job more and more and more to pay for bills, and we're never going to get ahead of the hamster race. The only way to get ahead of the hamster race is lowering our lifestyle. And I think that's in most cases. Because if you look at the simple logic that in most cases, only 4 to 6% of black men make over $100,000 a year.
Oh, yeah.
So that means 94% of black men do not make that kind of money. Society and social media has created this premise that so many people are so wealthy,
Right.
and it's just so
I
cap.
agree.
I showed this kid the other day that only 4% of Americans, 4% total Americans have over $200,000 in the bank. 4%. 22% of Americans totally, Indians, Asians, all across the board, has $100,000 saved. And if we go straight black, I would say 8% of blacks have over $100,000. And then it's about 500,000 is about 2%.
Yeah.
So when you look at these logic, it's just the numbers. It's no matter what relationship, for the most part, you're going to be in, it's how society is designed. It's learning how to navigate our bills is what can help us. But I think black people, we just not taught financial literacy to the magnitude of understanding money. We just live beyond our means, and then what we do is we create more.
Well,
There's
that's-
one guy, he was working one job, and the wife was working one job. She wanted a luxury car and wanted him to get a luxury car. He started working more. He started putting on weight. She goes, oh my God, you're getting fat. He said, because I'm working for the lifestyle that you want. This is what you want. He said, I want it simple. I'll get me a Honda. I'm good with that. He said, now I'll take the older car. You can take the new car. I don't care. I just want a simple life. I want to be able to come to my family, come home from work and just chill, enjoy my weekends. He's a gamer. He said, sometimes I want to game. I want to have my free time. You're just making me run this hamster race more and more and more because of the lifestyle that she wanted. And that's why I said a lot of us are narcissistic in our ways.
But you know, it's something I love to say. When it comes to finances and women, right, and men, I realize a lot of women today in society, they want the title of being a wife, but they don't want the work that comes with it.
I think both of us.
With the title without the responsibility.
I think men are similar too these days. We want the wife, but we don't want to provide for the wife to the magnitude of her comfort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so.
But y'all be picking up some women, though. Some men pick up some women that, like Q said before, to Q's point, it's a look. It's an aesthetic. It's like, you know what? If she looks the part, I'm going to bring her into a role that she was never created for. She was never created to be your wife. She was never created to, you know, she was created to just be a one night stand. But y'all want to bring them in because, like he said, she light skin, she this, she that, she whatever, and you bring her into a role that she was never meant to play.
Because his dad wasn't involved. His dad, because like I said earlier, most men don't know how to pick a wife.
But most women aren't wives.
What are key things that you're looking for when you're looking for a wife, though? What is it that a man is looking for when he's looking for a wife?
It's based on the man himself. Respect. But the key thing is respect. That's women want love, men want respect.
One more.
That's what men look for.
So any woman who will respect you is qualifies to be a wife?
It's a major component to why he will commit to her. A man will leave a millionaire woman for a woman that works at
a McDonald's. Just because of respect.
Y'all will leave a man that works at $1 million. I mean, a man that works at McDonald's that love you for a man that makes $1 million that don't respect you. More women will do that. And I always say it's just the truth. Maybe not you, but more so more women.
More women today, especially today.
They will take a man that verbally abuse him, treat him like crap, but he get to that bag because she has a materialistic lifestyle that she wants. So in her mind,
she's willing to compromise.
She's good because of the fact that she's able to live a certain lifestyle. And that's why you see they're willing to give away their self-respect because of money. You know, and it's just sad that everything has been designed on how much in respect that you should. The love and respect is measured on how much money someone has.
And that all stems from parenthood.
It's crazy.
The way you were raised.
You know? Especially when you have the dreams in your head. Like I told myself I can't force somebody to want to dream with me. I just want them not to take away my dreams. And once I started looking at it like that, like, don't get in the way of my dreams, and we good. But I still have my dreams. I got a divorce because a woman was in the way of my dreams. She was in the way. If she wasn't in the way, we'd probably still be married today. She was in the way.
What do you mean by in the way?
Every time I would tell her my dreams, my aspirations, my goals, oh, you want to do too much. Oh, you want to. I'm like, but again, I'm not the average guy. People that are very ambitious are not average. Most people are looking for comfort. They just want to be comfortable. It's just what it is. It's okay with them. But the reason why I want the billions and the trillions is because I want to help the world. That's a self-fulfillment thing for me. I don't want to get rich to the point where I don't want to help people. I want to help people. So for me, I want to go to those areas where they're underfunded as far as education and create systems that can teach them financial literacy. I want that. But that's not her goal. Her goal is having a healthy husband, a healthy family, and having a safe space to go home. But I can't force her to believe my dream, which is unfair to her. If you're doing that, that's very unfair. Because again, that's your dream. Right? Most people don't see your dream until it starts coming full circus. And then they probably see where they fit into the dream. But initially, that's just your dream.
Yeah, I didn't realize we had so much in common. I know we boys for a while, but...
Yeah, but not too long ago, you said that you will choose love over economics. So why didn't you choose that in that situation? If she wanted healthy husband, healthy lifestyle, that should have been enough. Why did you leave her? Because you felt like is it that she didn't believe in it, or she was just kind of like, listen, I don't need you to do all of that. We good where we at.
I don't mind being in the car, going 1 mile an hour to my destination. But I do mind when there's a car in front of me blocking me from even moving. I don't mind being in the car doing 1 mile an hour going to my destination. But I do mind when a person is in the way of me going to my destination. And she was in the way. And why I would say that is, all you doing is waste your time when I'm reading, I'm learning, I'm educating myself. And the more I'm doing it, the more I'm starting to see like, yo, I'm not going out this weekend. I worked all week. Sunday is the only early time I got to get home. I'm using this whole Sunday to read. Oh my God, we can't never go out to eat. I'm like, Lord, have mercy. I'm like, I don't want to be in this predicament next year. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing every day, expecting different results. I said, I'm no longer insane. I know I have to put in the work. And she just couldn't see my vision. But one thing about life, when you go to sleep, you dream your dream by yourself. We don't share dreams. So your dream is your dream in your mind, in your head. You just got to make sure somebody's not in the way of it. If they're not in the way of it, that means that person is a good mate. Again, it's because they're not. I think the vision board that we have, a lot of times ain't going to manifestate exactly the way we want it. It might look like what we wanted, but it's not going to be a perfect life. There's no such thing. Right. Would you agree with that guy, Jason?
I'd agree. What I would say in regards to someone being in your way of your dreams, your ex, I would say that she wasn't being a good support system.
That's what it was.
An aid, because remember, a wife is a man's aid. Now, women would take that the wrong way. It's basically the support system. Like when he's down, you're supposed to be able to lift him up, remind him that the crown is still on his head. He's still king. You are his queen, but you still have to remind your husbands because, we go through things in life. Sometimes we need reassurance from our women. Sometimes the road might be rocky. There might be obstacles in the way, but we don't need you to be an obstacle to get to the destination.
Agreed.
When I'm thirsty, I need some water. You should see your husband is thirsty. Let me give him some water. Let's help him. Because when he wins, you win. You're a team. Marriage is a team. It's a work.
You have 2 sons. And if you bring them around nothing but millionaires, would you think they'll be more inclined to be millionaires?
Of course.
Because of the exposure, right? So let's just say hypothetically, my woman, I was trying to expose her to it by, let's read this book together. When you start doing the work and you're showing the person what they should do, if they're just not trying to fall in line, then that's different. If you're taking this person, let's go to the seminar. What is the seminar? It's about financial literacy. Some people are nervous to say that they're very illiterate to certain aspects of life. It brings a level of inferiorness to say, I don't know. When it should be comfort, because we should always be what? Students at life. But most of us aren't comfortable enough to admit like, yo, I'm scared and I don't know. Most of us won't do that, whether male or female. So now, you know what? How about we go to a seminar and I can show you, let him see different aspects of understanding of life. And I think that's what will change naturally by being exposed to a different audience. Like I tell people all the time, the best thing a person could do is when they're married, bring the person around healthy marriages because it exposed them to a different understanding of marriage. When I got married, I was still hanging out with all my single friends. So I was destined for failure. When I was broke, I hung out with all my broke friends. So I was destined to stay broke. Again, you can't just ignite an idea because you just spoke it, right? You can ignite an idea by exposing a person to it. So I have to see it in order for me to believe it. Most people are visual people. Our culture is very visual. When you see it, then you can believe it's natural and it's real. But if I'm not around it, it's hard to believe like, yo, I could really do this. When I started going on my journey, I didn't believe I could be successful until I started seeing my circle started changing. Once I started changing, I'm like, damn, I noticed all my friends own a house. Damn, I noticed all my friends are buying assets. Damn, I'm around people that all of them are buying stocks. I remember the first time I bought a stock, I put $1 into a stock and thought I did something. I was like, I put $1, but I was so scared of it. But then I started seeing people that showed me they had over 1,000 Apple shares. If you do the math, that's like $200 per share. So, we ain't got to do the numbers. Right. When they start showing you these things and you're like, wait, you got 1,000 shares of a company that's almost $200 per share?
Yeah.
And then it started exposing me to it. And again, you go where your level of comfort is. We're creatures of habit. And we have to be re-exposed in order for us to reignite growth. So therefore, you'll be it's like a kid hanging out with kids that all study. If everybody's studying, and you're gonna feel like the fool if you ain't studying.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're gonna be like, damn, everybody here doing this? Say you in a seminar and everybody's locked in. If I'm your man and I'm sitting there with you and everybody paying attention, I'm gonna feel like the weirdo. And you taking notes and everybody taking notes, I'm like, hold up. I'm feeling like the weirdo. So you're kind of forcing change, but you're also exposing change that is possible. Right. And by seeing that it's possible, then the mind starts gravitating towards more growth. And that's just how most people, I had a couple I was talking to, the husband and wife had problems with saving because of the fact that the wife wasn't good with money, right? They used to fight a lot about it, to the point where he would yell at, oh, you so bad with money, you da-da-da-da-da. Then I told him, I said, when have you given her any literature books, anything to try to cross-reference her thoughts? Because naturally, she's gonna continue to think what she thinks. So I said, you have to cross-reference her thinking, right? So therefore, you can change the mentality. And she was like, yeah, you're right. She said, you're 100% right. And then I looked at her and I said, that's how you ignite growth. You know, in order for someone to be the best version of self, you have to help them get around better people. That's their better version of themselves. And therefore, it ignite the change. How do you feel about that?
Make a call.
I mean, I guess, again, it all makes sense to the title. Common sense ain't so common. It's exposure. It's creating that environment where people can learn, you know, and create that opportunity. So this was very insightful. I will say this podcast has been a little different for me because this is the time that I'm the only girl. So I was able to kind of sit back and really, you know, just absorb the lesson that you guys are spitting. And I think it's kind of, I want to have a little bit more empathy as it comes to men. But again, I feel like everything again is subjective to what you've been through. And I feel like for certain things that I've been through, maybe it's a little hard to let my guards down because I've never been able to. I've never had a space created for me where I was able to let my guard down. And when you say things like, okay, but maybe that's just not who you are, and you're like, oh, you want to be in your soft era. It's not so much as soft, but it's kind of just being able to just relax for a second and say, all right, I want to take my thinking cap off. I want to take my construction moves off. I want to just chill for a second. I don't feel like that environment has been created for me to do so. So that's my story. I would love to be able to tell something different, but that is my story.
But the man that hasn't created your trauma shouldn't have to heal your trauma.
Oh, I'm not looking for anyone to per se heal my trauma. I'm just saying
you said a minute ago that what you've been through, I get it, and I understand, but I think I understand you. And the one thing I do see, like, you know, shout out to my sister, she started her business. That's what I see for you. There is no other option I see with you. I think you'll never be satisfied until you fulfill your true purpose and your true potential. I'm not talking about nobody else's potential. I'm talking about your potential. In order for you to feel fulfilled, meaning you at a buffet, you looking at everything on the buffet, you don't want nothing there because there's something else that you want. You had that buffet already. You want a new buffet, which is okay. But you got to get yourself to that new buffet. Right. And I think you just got to go after it. I meet a lot of boss chicks who's about their paper. And when you meet they men are not like super go-getters. But the thing is, he loves the hell out of her. And that's where she gets refueled because that man loves her and he respects her. And he was with her when she ain't have nothing. Yeah.
I think most people who aren't happy is because they're not chasing their purpose.
It's purpose.
Right.
They're not fulfilled. So
it's purpose.
If I'm not chasing my purpose or I'm not doing things that, okay, you can have a job, but was that the job that you really wanted, or did you just go to the job because that's what life gave you at that point because you had to pay the bills, right? So most people, they're in situations of where like they're not fulfilled in life. So of course,
you think true happiness comes with fulfilling your purpose?
Fulfilling your purpose.
Right, it does.
Your inner child, what you want to do.
Yeah.
Not what anybody else wants. What you want, regardless if it makes you $1 million, get you $1 million, this or that, it doesn't matter as long as it makes you feel satisfied. So once you feel satisfied within, everything else falls in line. The relationships, the friendships, the how you treat others, because you know within you're good.
So you don't think that could be translated into partnership as well, in terms of if it's not fulfilling you, if it's not serving you, if this person may not be aligned, then how come we can kind of how can we put in prospect and say, okay, true happiness comes with, being fulfilled, but doesn't that fulfillment isn't it a broad spectrum? Is fulfillment one thing, like a career? Is it just like, okay, my career, I'm fulfilled, I'm happy now? Or is it like all across the board? Like where do we kind of like compartmentalize it? Or where do we say, okay, it's one big thing, or it's just, you know what I mean? Put it like, should I not be happy? I mean, are you ever truly happy? It's like you said, like sometimes you kind of have to accept the good with the bad. So then my true purpose, I kind of have to accept some stuff from this buffet then, because it might not have what I want, but am I going to be hungry, or am I going to sit and eat here? Am I going to be like, okay, no, I kind of want a steak. That's $50, but I only have $20 for this buffet. So I'm going to take this. Like, where do we draw a line and say, all right, I want to be more fulfilled here. Do I have a choice in that, or is it just...
I think that's a good statement. I think you're fulfilled at certain points in your life. Right now, I may not be fulfilled in my love life. It is what it is. But I may be fulfilled in my purpose and success or business. It's going to come. Everything has cycles. Because you're going to choose a
better choice of woman.
Exactly.
Because she has to fit
but
the
see,
purpose.
This is what gets me with my brother, though. Sometimes I feel like he contradicts himself, because you see what he just said? And then that love will come.
Let me tell you what.
So do we... Can I tell you what? But do we... So then, do we stay in something that we're unhappy with? Like... Again, I do believe that, yes, sometimes you have to take the good with the bad. I do believe the grass isn't always green on the other side. It's greener where you water it. I do believe that you're never going to find your perfect person. I do believe that sometimes men have a list that you can never fulfill. I believe women, I tell people, I don't have expectations. I set standards, because those standards can be set by you or me. Expectations mean what I expect of you. And I don't have expectations of people, because people will always let you down. So prepare to be let down when I think, okay, I expected Q to open the door when I got here. He didn't. So I'm going to come in and yell at him because he didn't. But the standards was, can somebody open the door? I'm just going to walk in his house. So it didn't matter who did. So it's not okay to tell someone to just be satisfied with mediocre if they're not. It's not okay to tell them to stay unhappy because of love. Because love sometimes just isn't enough.
Can I throw a wrench in it?
Something diabolical for
Oh,
you.
God, here we go.
Can I throw a wrench in it? Like you said, finding true purpose will help you to fulfill, right? Mm-hmm. But in a marriage, God's purpose for us was to be in a union, right? And when we speak about what if I'm this, or what if that, or what if that comes down to self-gratification, because you're focusing on self at that point instead of the union. Because when you become married, it's not about you anymore. It's not about, you fulfilling what you want. It becomes two.
I think biblical marriages and the marriages we see now.
But here's the thing. But here's the thing. With everything in life, there's always what's the word I'm looking for? It's like, they say pee in the dating pool. There's always something like the bad apples always spoil a bunch.
Right.
Because people don't really understand, because they're not drawn to God anymore. God is not the basis of marriage anymore.
Right.
It's all about what can I get from this marriage.
It's transactional.
It's not how can I fulfill, how can I serve anymore? How can I, as a husband, how can I serve my wife? As a wife, how can I serve my husband? It's all, what can you do for me? What can I get from this?
I mean, I don't look at why you're looking at me.
It's like, what can he do for me? What can she do for me? It's not.
I don't look at nobody what they could really.
Can I say something?
You're gonna really say that?
Can I say something? Can I speak honest?
Be honest.
I would never recommend a person I love to go back into the dating world. Watch this though, Tyler. At 40 years old, with 2 children with a man that don't beat her, that don't verbally abuse her, because of the fact that they may not be in love at the moment. Every relationship goes through moments of in and out of love.
Facts.
But the thing is, there's a commitment to each other that remains. Are we still friends? Do we respect each other? Do you respect me? I think that's what I had to learn about a marriage, because no one stays in love. And you will love the person, but in love, it's up, down, left, right.
Yeah.
It is a roller coaster.
Yeah.
There are times where you're going to maybe not be happy with yourself for the moment. So guess what? Who usually get it is the person that you love the most. That's how it goes. And then you learn, like, wait, this person is choosing to do life with me, and they're loving everything about me. When you wake up in the morning and you're not the best version of yourself, I still love that person. And when he's not the best version of himself, I still love that person. And I want to continue to do this life thing with him. I think that's the real victory of life. Can I find someone that can sex me better? We all can. We just talking logical.
Yeah.
But can you find somebody that's going to genuinely love you for you and really want to do this thing? I wouldn't recommend it because of the fact that I don't think y'all problems are that bad. And that's just my opinion. From my experience of talking to a hell of a lot of relationships. Y'all relationship problems are very minimal.
When did this become so personal?
I'm just being honest. I'm just, listen.
What's happening?
The conversation you said, whatever it was minimal comparable to what the world problems is. I think people really have major issues like adultery, like physical, verbal abuse, no respect. The person don't never want to be home. They always out and about. I think everything always looks like the Cinderella story in the beginning, but in the end, you will ultimately see the same level of problems long term. Do I want to do these problems with you? I think that's just what it is. And that's what I had to learn. There is no perfect. There is no such thing. And I wish somebody would have told me that earlier. I thought the way we started dating, when we got married, I thought it was going to start back to the way we first started dating. No, it was marriage continuing the way we were just dating. It was the same thing. But it's just a commitment thing. Are you still committed? Are you willing to do this thing? And I think that's what we have to learn. I think if everybody chose to say, I'm not madly in love no more, I think 99.999% people would be divorced. I'm just being fair. Every couple I've talked to that's been married for a long term said the same thing. I thought about leaving him, he thought about leaving me, but we worked it out. We stayed together because it's a commitment. That's what I see.
But back to add to that, with the commitment part, we got to look at who created the foundation of marriage. And if it's not a part of your marriage will fall. Because that was God's intention for us. He saw a man was lonely, he created a woman. Right? That was his intention for us. But now when we focus on self, that's when we allow systems and chaos to occur. You see where I'm coming from? When we have God involved in everything, I'm not going to say it's going to be a bed of roses. Marriage is work. It's a lot of work. But the commitment part of it is what's going to hold everything together.
You know what I want to say about both of y'all? You met your wife, she had children before you?
Yeah.
You met your husband, you had a child before him? One thing I saw with you were willing to embrace those children and raise them like your own, right? And I saw that with my own eyes. I've heard that same thing. You know how amazing a person is to meet somebody with a child? Because I met somebody and I had a child before. To take on that responsibility that they didn't create and to love it like they created it, that means that person loves you. And they've learned how to love that person through loving you. Because before they can love your child, they have to learn you. And once they learn to love you, that comes with you. So I'm going to love that. And then they build a love for that child. That's an amazing, different love. To love somebody with a kid, in this, I love you so much that I'm accepting what you have because I love you. That's why I will always favor a person like that, because that's commendable, bro. I tip my hat to anybody like that, because I had my mom date people that didn't care nothing about us. They cared about our mom, but not us. So when a person meets you and accepts what you have, meaning your luggage or your baggage, my luggage or my baggage, anytime you have children and you're moving into the dating world, you do have luggage and baggage. Yeah. Anybody that say otherwise, they smoking. If you have children, you have luggage, you have baggage, because you're not coming alone. So anybody that says otherwise, they wilding. So therefore, me coming into a situation with luggage, and somebody was willing to embrace my luggage, and they had no luggage, I gotta love them even more. Because they learn how to love you even more because I love what you come with.
Right.
And I accept everything you come with. That's the ultimate sign of love. Because love is about not imposing, love is about acceptance. So when a person accepts everything about you, that's true love. I'm sorry. I can't say anything more than that. The ultimate sign of love is accepting you for you. And that's amazing. So if a man does feel like he needs to submit to allow you to lead, that man's a great man. Because it takes a great man to know that he is not that type of person.
Not only that, it It takes a great leader.
It takes one.
Michael Jordan didn't take the winning shot every time.
No.
Sometimes a leader have to step back and let somebody just take. A great leader knows when to fall back.
Yes. Yes.
And say, okay, I'll let you shine. Because it's for the better good of...
The team.
Right.
And once you break up the team will never be the same. Never be the
But
same.
I would say this, though. You can still be in your feminine energy and boss up.
Go get your nails done. Go get your feet done.
And boss up.
Yeah, but them up your feet.
That's it.
So me for lead, me for
Don't
pay for
matter.
everything. Me for
Oh, Lord.
Don't matter.
You guys crazy.
Listen,
Guys, these men, I don't
Try-
know.
try the
Can one of you
seminar thing.
ladies come on here?
try
like
the seminar
we-
thing and see what happens and entice growth and see what happens. I think before anybody decides to divorce or leave anybody, they should ultimately exhort every option before they leave. What you got, Jason, before we get out of here today?
Put God first in everything. And I want to say thanks to Q, the boss, for inviting me onto the podcast.
Appreciate it.
It's nice meeting you as well. My
Likewise.
national sister. Well, we all national siblings here.
Bop, bop, bop.
You know, so respect to you, Q. I respect everything you're doing.
Appreciate it.
You know, I was always a rider for you.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you more, trust
I
me.
mean,
Make sure you tell them where they can keep up with you at, though.
you can follow me at Mr. Jason Ray
Spell it
on
out.
all platforms. That's MrJasonRae. And also you can follow my my business at Lachelle Beauty.
Spell it.
That's LACHELBEAUTE. That's Lachelle Beauty. Or you can go to LachelleBeauty.com. We currently have a BOGO going on right now. So tap in. It's an all natural hair product line. We do bring edges back. We bring your hair, your bald headed back.
Oof.
Yeah.
That was diabolical.
Yeah, I'm just being honest. We bring bald heads back.
I felt like he pointed to me. I was gonna be like, sir, I have all my education. What?
Yeah, so you can tap in with Lachelle Beauty and all platforms. That's LACHELBEAUTE. Yeah, and that's it.
And I want you to say your way out.
You
but
didn't tell
also-
him what to say. Why you want to tell
No,
me?
but I want you to
say?
make sure you mention your business. Oh, my Lord. I want you to make sure you mention your business.
All right, guys. As usual, Q, you're my brother. I love you. Thank you for always
Diabolical.
being so welcoming. I mess with him, guys, but I really love him. He's doing amazing things. Shout out to Q.
Appreciate it.
And it was very nice meeting you too, Jay. It was
well.
very, very nice meeting you. Guys, you can follow us on 2 T's in a Pod. You know, me and my girl are on here with Q sometimes. We have our own podcast. We haven't been on in a while, but I promise you we'll get back to it. And I don't really want to tell too much about the business right now, but
Okay.
it's coming very, very soon, within 30 days.
Okay.
And, you know, if you guys are also looking for a daycare provider, you know I own a daycare for the past 8 years, so you
Yes.
can always tap in and follow me on my Instagram, Tashay Jones, TSAHAYJONES. You know, I know you guys are out there making love and making babies, so I got you.
Listen,
That's it.
so my guests that came in today, I just want to thank you guys. Society today, we have to understand that everything ain't going to always make sense, but you have to make it make sense. Nothing is perfect. Life will never be perfect, but you have to enjoy the roller coaster called life and be grateful that we have it. Sometimes we overvalue things and we don't see how blessed we truly are because life is about perspective. The person that has a refrigerator full of food, he complains about his eating or what he wants to eat to the magnitude of a person that has no food in their refrigerator. We have to be grateful for what we have so we could ultimately have more. Because if you don't want to appreciate what you have, God will take everything that you did have. Don't let that go over your head.